Hi, it's me, Blake. I'm here in downtown Austin, and I'm here to meet one of the most famous people we have at Compass. It's my good friend, Leonard Steinberg. Leonard, how are you? It is so good to see you today.
Good to see you. Nice to bump into you on the street in Austin.
It's so arbitrary. I can't imagine that you're in Austin from New York.
Just wandering around and here I bump into you. That's how it goes.
So I've asked you to join me today on my walk around the block.
Yeah.
And on this walk, I want you to tell me a little bit about yourself. And, more importantly, how did you get to Compass? And what is special about Compass?
Well, I got to Compass because of food. Robert Reffkin invited me to a cocktail event to discuss the real estate markets, and then a few weeks later invited me to breakfast.
Really?
I was like, I don't want to meet with Urban Compass. It was called Urban Compass back then. I thought, that doesn't interest me at all, but did you mention food? There was food, I was there.
Food is probably the number one draw for almost anything, isn't it?
That did it, 2014, January.
So, but you've been a realtor for 25 plus years, right?
25 years this year, correct.
That is an accomplishment. I'm sure it went by quickly.
And I'm still walking.
And you're still walking, still standing, which is awesome. Tell me, before real estate, what were you doing? And then tell me about your transition to Compass.
I was in the fashion industry prior to real estate, and I then retired from fashion after 10 years, which could kill anyone after 10 years. I survived.
And this is in Manhattan or around the world?
I divided my time between Dallas, New York City, and Los Angeles, and Atlanta, actually.
Really?
Yep. So I was traveling all year round. And then I had a midlife crisis at the age of 30 and became a professional musician, only to realize that the only way to be a professional anything is if someone was willing to pay for it. No one wanted to pay for my music. No one. And rightfully so. I'm very mediocre.
Guitar, piano, singing, what was
keyboards, piano and keyboards, yes.
Okay.
But mediocrity in music does not go far. Sorry. I tried.
Well, I'm sure that you still have a beat to your heart.
Well, best not to hear what I was playing, but that's okay.
Okay, so back to the kind of the thrust of the question, which, so you did fashion and then you transitioned into real estate after your midlife crisis.
Correct.
And what was that like?
It was very exciting because I thought I would be in real estate for maybe a few weeks or months and learn the business and then just continue building, because I built homes already and I thought it would be more of a development style thing. And I stayed and I stayed and I stayed, much like my trip to America that lasted, 30-something years. That
So
vacation was
your trip to
extended
America. You're from London, right?
No, I am my British accent is completely fake. I'm from South Africa.
I was teasing, I knew that.
Thank you. Most people don't say it immediately. I think they want to. They want to say your British accent sounds fake, but they don't.
No, I love
polite.
the South African accent. It's very unique, and to my ear, it's very distinct. So I knew where you were from immediately when I first heard your voice. So your journey to Compass. So you met with Robert Reffkin. He wined and dined you.
No, it was actually breakfast, and I prefer breakfast, by the way.
Okay.
It was a really good breakfast.
Well, you're here at Compass now. You've been with Compass for
over 8 years. I joined in June of 2014 when it was Urban Compass. And what I loved most about that meeting was that Robert acknowledged that the business model of Urban Compass was not going to succeed. And no one in real estate that I'd met till that point lacked the arrogance to be able to admit a flaw that quickly.
right.
And I loved that. And I thought, wow, this could succeed. And I also wanted to infuse the business and our profession with a lot of technology, which I thought was lacking in our world. And also maybe promote the profession, because I think too many people have for too long tried to replace agents with some kind of algorithm or technology. And I really feel the consumer is best served with a professional agent. So I wanted to be sure that we not only secured the role of the professional agent, but also enhanced the quality of the work they did in the world.
That is so well put. This really is a person-to-person, human-to-human business. And all this intent to insert technology is good and bad.
Exactly. Well, I think, a bookstore these days benefits mostly when there's extraordinary technology infused in it as well. And Amazon, in one way, is a tech-fueled bookstore that branched out into a few other things.
I also think it's interesting that you are, as much as Robert Refkin is the head of Compass, and his vision is what we are all looking at today, you are 100%, in my mind, the voice of Compass.
Well, that's because you hear too much of my voice, and I speak every morning and write every morning, so that's a little bit part of the issue. But I think every company...
30,000 people, agents at Compass per day.
Well, it actually goes out to over 45,000 now, so there's a big audience within as well as outside of Compass, and there are agents outside of Compass who are blown away not only by the fact that I send that email every day, but by the content of what it provides agents, not only in the stuff I write, but mostly with the volume of things at the fingertips of everyone at Compass that really helps fuel a very successful career. I think they're kind of blown away by the culture of the company as well as the technology component. It's a combination.
Well, you brought up my favorite word, culture. And Compass has an amazing culture, and I'll tell you. So I read what you send out 3 times a week.
Okay, good.
That's what I get to. My wife cannot start her day. She's also an agent with Compass. She cannot start her day without reading your email. And she'll always come to me, have you read what Leonard wrote? Have you read it yet?
Oh, no.
And if it's something really good, she'll send it to me, and she'll watch over my shoulder as I read it.
Oh, geez.
To make sure it's something that has somehow sunk into my head. So your messaging to the company is so important. Where do you get all the ideas and the content that you're able to put out on that 5-day-a-week cadence?
Well, I think a lot of it's ingrained in my DNA. My mother always used to say I have way too many opinions. And unfortunately, I think a lot the whole day, and I opine a lot the whole day, so that by the time 5 a.m. rolls around, I have a lot to write pretty much.
Are you really
every
starting
day.
your day at 5 a.m.?
I start around 5 a.m. and I make sure that the email gets out by 7:30. But I do a lot of reading before I do a lot of writing.
And what is your favorite thing to read?
There's not one thing because I'm ADD, so of course I read a ton of things. I read the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal, CNBC, Bloomberg, New York Times, New York Post gossip columns, Reuters, Market Watch, Seeking Alpha. I could go on. I read a lot. But I skim read. I don't read, everything. I will look at headlines and I will look for stuff that I think is relevant to our world.
Well, I think you also said something interesting, which is the ADD component. I think if you looked at the commonality between a lot of successful agents, and you are one of the more successful agents in the country overall.
Well, I've been around 100 years.
Well, you and me both. But I think one of the commonalities is ADD.
Yes.
I think agents we come into this business because we are, we're similar in some respects. And that's how we become realtors. And our success is kind of based on that ADD and looking at many things. And I think I heard you say something earlier today about, being really funny to people and being a gentleman and being attractive to people you meet on the street.
Well, people like to work with people they like, number one. And number two, I think agents, for the most part, are pretty curious individuals. And they're constantly dealing with very nuanced and different problem-solving projects, right? Because I think every project we take on is pretty nuanced in that it has its own unique complexities and circumstances, and that fuels curiosity. So I think curiosity and ADD are very intertwined.
I love that. So as we wind down our walks, this is a really around the block with Blake.
I've been around the block too many times, but
what are some of the things that you might recommend to our community here at Compass for a successful 2023?
I think the key to all success is consistency and repetition and hard work. And especially at the times where you think there's nothing to do, those are the times when you can get the most valuable work done, because those are the times when you're building for the times when you don't have the time to do all the other things that are really important. So I would say focus on learning, focus on growing, but just keep doing. And the more you do, the harder you work, the luckier you get. Luck is not that which comes to those who aren't prepared for it. You have to be prepared for it.
So that is a great way to end our walk around the block. Leonard, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. My suit fits better now. I burned 3 calories.
Well, you always, I'm sorry, I'm sure that you will always look great. So thank you.